Premier League primetime on tape. Jose, Cyrus, and Andre. And you know that Daveye don't play. In the field, they can talk about it all day. Look, and we moving up. You can try all you want, can't move like us. When it all comes down, they choosing us. And I do gotta say, we don't give a fuck. Premier League primetime, and it's only that. Speak only facts. Say what I want, can't hold me back. Can't hold me back. Premier League primetime, better yet, it's my time. You stay on the sideline. Say what I want, can't hold me back. Premier League primetime.
Hello and welcome back to Premier League Primetime, and I'm here with the man himself. I've been wondering where he's been. I don't know why he's been missing. There's nothing for him to be missing. If anything, I should be missing. But anyways, we're back here. I'm back with the man himself, Liam Toner. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, especially after that result.
I'm sure he is. We are here to bring you. Oh wow, what a surprise! They just came back. Liverpool 4, Manchester United 0. Now, let me repeat that again. Liverpool 4, and United 0. Is anyone surprised? I'm not here to rant. I'm not here to. I mean, I laughed. I said for weeks, and I not say for weeks, we're going to concede a goal in 5 minutes, and everyone has been saying, no, it's not going to happen. Daveye, there's no way. The Derby, they're going to be up for it. The Man United players, they want it. You see the heart and desire. If they play back five, there's going to be more solidity at the back. When I saw the moment I saw the back three, I already knew. I was like, yep, we're conceding in 5 minutes. And literally right on 5 minutes, we concede a goal. But dude, it's a phenomenal performance from Liverpool. Basic thoughts or basic brief rundowns on Liverpool's performance before we get into the player ratings.
Yeah, happy with the performance, especially with a tough run of form, or not tough run of form, but a tough schedule over the last couple of weeks, playing Man City twice and some tough competitions coming thick and fast. But I think the boys fared well, played a good game. I missed the first 20 minutes. I was at class, so I missed the first 2 goals, but happy with the performance. I think it was a balanced performance, never really gave, besides I think one opportunity, didn't really give United a shot at goal or a clear look. So I think it was a good balanced performance that they needed, settling going forward in the Champions League, Prem, and also that Cup final.
100%, yeah. And when you look at this Liverpool team, you could just see this team is just a million miles above and a million miles away, far away from where you look at one team and you see, yeah, they're looking to win everything this year. And then you look at one team that just needs, it will take more than a housekeeper to clean it out. It's going to take, I don't know, it's going to take many things to clean one of those teams' houses out. But my thoughts, this performance was expected, to be honest with you. And when you look at the starting 11, I don't think Mo Salah is going to be saying, shiver me timbers, I'm up against Phil Jones. I don't think he's going to be nervous. And I don't think Luis Diaz is thinking, no, not the Iceman, Victor Lindelof, what am I going to do? And I don't think Sadio Mane, or not even Sadio Mane, I don't think any attacker in the Premier League is saying, oh, jeepers creepers, it's Harry Maguire, what am I going to do? The Liverpool front line, they were when they saw that kind of back three, they had to be just licking their lips, knowing that. I mean, all 3 of them scored. But in your opinion, who is the best player on the pitch? And I know who you're going to say.
Yeah, today it has to be Thiago. He bossed it, came off around the 70th minute, but played a phenomenal game. He was putting in tackles, interceptions, his spraying from right to left was just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
That's the player we signed, and we didn't really see that form for a little bit, and then he's dealt with injuries, but when he's fit, and especially anchored with Fabinho and Henderson, I think he really has the license to get forward and really be that sit and spray midfielder like a Toni Kroos that we really been looking for. And when you see him play to his full potential like he did today, it's really phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal player. I mean, everyone knows the quality that Thiago has. He's a midfielder that is he just has such elegance, such class, such culture on the ball, and we've seen it at Bayern Munich. You saw a glimpse of that when he was And he's a young player at Barcelona. Everyone knows the quality that this player has. And it made no sense to me why, whenever Thiago got the ball, the Manchester United players backed off. For me, that was it was astounding to me how many passes he made, how many balls he put in for Luis Diaz, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah. Even Diogo Jota had a fair few chances himself. He probably should have scored one of them, but you just see how class that much of a midfielder is. And then you look at the other side's midfielders, and you have Nemanja Matic, really doing a great job of, just creating lots of chances and, supplying, long balls from deep. Just because that's he's really good at that. I mean, genuinely, looking at our midfielders, I would rather have a certain cheeky trio from this dorm in our midfield than McFred. I kid you not. For those who know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about with that cheeky trio. Quick question before we get into the player ratings: would that cheeky trio be better than McFred in midfield?
McFred
or Matic, either one.
Yeah, Matic didn't really hear his name said once today, so it was a pretty lackluster performance from him. So I think you could say that some substitutes could have done better.
That's Liam basically saying, get that cheeky trio in. Anyways, we'll get right into the player ratings. So start off in goal. Alisson, I'm going to say this right now. Honestly, he may as well just have left Anfield because we wouldn't have scored anyways. And actually, no, he did make a double save on Rashford and then I think Alanga, but that's kind of all he did.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably, if we're talking ratings here, I'd probably give him a 7. He, not because he was at fault for anything, he was alert. He showed when he got the ball, even in simple situations, his distribution was still pretty locked down, and he played a quick ball out. Yeah. And like you said, the one double save. So didn't do anything wrong, but didn't have a ton of work to do. He probably made a total of 3 saves, and probably, like you said, could have called it an early day and headed home.
100%. May as well just put Robbo in the goal for the lulz. But yeah, I'd say 6. Just because and again, as Liam said, you point out perfectly. It's not because he was bad. He just genuinely had nothing to do. He was probably bored out of his mind. He like looking at Alisson reminded me of Ederson. Like Ederson when we played Manchester City at the Etihad, he spent like most of the game just sitting on the halfway line, just chilling. Like he wasn't doing anything, to be honest with you. Right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold. One of my mates said, if there's one thing we have to do, it's lock up Trent. Do not let him cross that ball. Unfortunately, we let Trent cross the ball a lot.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't see the first 20, 25 minutes of the game, and I think he had an impact in some of the goals. The first 2 goals that were scored. But I think Trent had a good day. Nothing special. The name didn't pop out at me too much. I think I'd also give him a 7. I mean, he had a good performance. Didn't really. He got crossed a couple times by Sancho after Sancho subbed in, and you can still see that his defensive performances are lacking a little bit. But that's what's to be expected with a forward-minded right back. So
100%. I
mean, he played well. Nothing spectacular, nothing horrible, just a pretty baseline 7 for him today.
And something funny just about Trent, and I think, like, what was it, like 2 years back? Trent Alexander-Arnold versus Aaron Wan-Bissaka was actually a debate. Into the next player, Joel Matip. Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk, I'll kind of categorize them into one. Both of them didn't have anything to do. I mean, they had the simple stuff. That's kind of it. They didn't have a lot to do.
Yeah, not a ton to do today. Again, a theme amongst the back 4, although Robbo had a little bit more work to do on the left side. But with the 2 center back pairings, I would say Van Dijk played a little better than Matip, which I guess is to be expected given his class. But Matip did put a foot wrong a couple times, almost letting in Rashford on one occasion with a little misstep and through the legs action. But I mean, they both played well. Locked it down. Their passing still good from the back. And I'm gonna stick with the 7s because I feel like these are just baseline scores at this point.
Fair enough. Andrew Robertson at left back.
Yeah, Robbo, I think had a solid performance today. Did you just see
I think he had a great performance.
his fitness and his energy?
He played a big part in was it the I'd say
final goal, I believe.
I think both
Yeah,
both goals.
yeah. Just the way he works off the left side, and he's with Henderson, with our midfield three kind of being solidified with Thiago, Henderson, and Fabinho. He's starting to play a lot better with Hendo on the left side, and their interplay has been really good, and also with Mane as well going forward, and Jota coming in after he comes on. So I think he played a great game, and you can just see his solidity at the back is just phenomenal, and his ability to get back on the counter is great. So I'll give him a 7.5 or somewhere between 7.5 and an 8 today.
Fair enough, yeah. Into that midfield trio will go right with Fabinho.
Yeah, Fabinho, he never really puts a foot wrong. Well, he slipped a couple times today on the Anfield pitch. Seemed like he was catching a couple people out, but he just sits there and holds, and he does everything that he's asked, and he's a beautiful player, and he works really well with Thiago, especially going forward in the link-up play, and the way he can sit in front of Van Dijk and Matip and just hold it down. I'm gonna give him a 7.5 today. He played well. Not a fantastic performance. He wasn't really didn't play too many testy balls over the top, or wasn't really getting too much in behind and creating chances. But he didn't defensively. He played well, and so he deserves a good score.
Question for Fabinho: Was his performance as good as his cut?
As his trim. I've never seen that man's head look not perfectly smooth. So I don't think his performance could ever be as good as his trim. His barber must be dialed in and just locked down, or whatever he gives him the ring. He's probably giving him a shave at halftime just to make sure it stays shiny.
Do you think Fabinho could give Trent some tips?
Oh, Trent, when he gets a trim, might have passed some of the hair on to Fabinho. They could trade. I'd love to see Trent bald though. I think that'd be great. Good laughs.
Good laughs, good vibes. Something that I'm trying my best to do right now. Jordan Henderson. Actually looked somewhat shaky. I thought he was one of the only players for me that looked not terribly shaky. I mean, no player looked shaky, like really, really bad. But he was the only one that looked just somewhat unsettled.
Yeah. He provided a great assist for Salah at the end. That was a nice, lovely ball. But yeah, I could agree with you. Next to Thiago, who lost this game, Hendo looks like he wasn't really involved because of the amount of time that Thiago spent on the ball today. But I think he played well for what he had, and I'll give him another 7. I mean, he played well, nothing spectacular, but he did his job, and he's always a calming presence. He's a great captain. We love him. Hendo, what a
guy. Shout out to the person that just came into this room.
Big ups.
Yes, her name will be revealed. Big up herself. Big up Cameron. Always big up Cameron. You know, what a legend. Next, of course, into your man of the match, Thiago. I'm pretty sure I know what this room is going to be.
Yeah, man of the match for me for sure. I'm gonna go big and give him the full 10. Saw him only miss maybe a handful of passes all game, and just the sprays from left to right create so much space and opportunity for those wingers and also our wingbacks to get forward and just create some great chances. And a lot of the play started from him today, and his ability to read the game and intercept is just phenomenal. And the way he can close down passing lanes and get into the channels is just really, really great to see. And he's just so fun to watch. He's one of my favorite players. He's so silky on the ball, and I just love his ability to play the ball from right to left. And today is one of his better performances as a Liverpool player. I mean, if not his best, in my opinion. Didn't have a goal or even an assist, I don't think, but unless it was from the first.
He should have. I don't know how he didn't.
Yeah, but even without a goal or an assist, he just commanded the game.
Fabulous. He's brilliant.
He deserves a 10.
Into the front three, we'll start off with Luis Diaz on the left. What a signing he has been.
Yeah.
How much was it? Was it 35 million from 40 million from Porto
fees,
and plus like 20 million in add-ons? So it could be 60 million for Luis Diaz.
Great signing.
What a player.
Yeah, I mean, when we have
outstanding.
Yeah, when you have 5 attackers, we have 5 or 6, 5 real attackers that would start on pretty much every other Premier League team. I'd say.
I think bar Man
besides-
City.
Besides City, and maybe Firmino on a couple teams wouldn't. But I mean, we have three out of the top
At least 4.
top 4 top scorers in the Prem are all on Liverpool. So I mean, that just shows the attacking prowess that we have. And with Luis Diaz being a new addition, he's not racking up tons of goals. I mean, I think he has 3 goals in the Prem so far.
But what he
his
done
impact-
today.
Salah is a pacey winger, and so is Mane. But the pace that Luis Diaz provides is something different. Like his electricity and his ability.
His
to make
skill set's
runs
also
is-
different. Luis Diaz has more like Luis Diaz is what Sadio Mane, like what young Sadio Mane used to be. Like remember when Sadio Mane
shifty change of direction.
shifty change of direction. He had the skills to tech. That's kind of what Mane used to be. But we now see it from Luis Diaz. And
Yeah.
What,
And
what would you give him? For
I
today?
really like the pairing between Luis Diaz and Mane, and I think they work well together on the left, especially today when
They
Mane is
interchange well.
playing through the center. Because when Diaz provides so much width and his pace on the left provides a lot more space for Mane to come to the center and play those balls. So Diaz got an assist to Mane today through a similar situation, just working off the left and creating a channel for Mane to run into, playing the ball. And it was a great finish. We'll get to Mane in a second. But I'm going to give Diaz an 8.5 for his performance today. He bagged an assist and a goal.
100%.
Had a great day, and I'm happy to see him integrating with the team so well, and I'm happy that he's a Red.
100%. On to through the middle, Sadio Mane.
Yeah, great day. Mane's been in great form of late.
Yeah,
He's bagging goals, and his finishing has just been phenomenal. Proud of the way he's playing, and I'm going to give him an 8.5 as well. I think he played really well today. The like I was saying, the camaraderie between him and Luis Diaz on the left has just become really fun to watch. I think they play well off of each other, and provided great assist to Salah, bagged a goal as well. So good day at the office for the Senegalese man.
Nice. And of course, on the right wing, the man had not scored in 5 games. And I sat there telling people, and I told this guy as well, if there is one man who I know is, if there's any team that this man is going to break his goal drought, it will be against us. And I predicted he was going to get multiple goals. Mo Salah, back again with the
Egyptian
goals,
king.
of course. He's and people look. He's class. Honestly, he's an amazing player, isn't he? Like I said it back when we lost 5-0, and I'll say it again now. You know, other Kareem Benzema. I'd say other than Kareem Benzema for me, right now, maybe Mbappe. He's the best in the world. I'm sorry, he is. Or should I say that Sadio Mane is the best player in the world?
Thiago Alcantara. Great day for Salah. I'm happy to see him back on the sheet. We were discussing this earlier. For a player of Salah's caliber, a 5-game goal drought seems like a lifetime. Whereas most other players, you go 3-4 games without scoring, and then you bag a couple, and then you wait a couple more games and bag a couple more is decent form. So that just shows the type of player that he is. And I was also saying earlier how I felt like in some instances Salah is slightly overrated because his range of skills isn't quite as diverse as some other players. But
100%.
we, as a Liverpool fan, we're so jaded by his performance and his consistency that when he slips into a period, like I said, of 2, 3, 4, 5 games of slightly subpar performances, it's like the end of the world because of his consistency. And so great to see him bag a couple of goals today. Great finish on the 4th goal. He really needs he's a big confidence player. So the second he gets firing again, I think we'll start having more confidence to take on those chances and the goals will start coming for him again. So 2 goals on the day. I'm going to give him a 9. 2 goals on the day is great, and he really commanded the right side against a good left back in Wan-Bissaka, especially in the second half.
Because Wan-Bissaka is a left back.
He is today. So it's a good day for Salah, and I'm happy to see him back on the score sheet.
100%, definitely. Players off the bench. I'm only going to go to Diogo Jota because Naby Keita and James Miller has came on, just to have a lap and to annoy a bit of the United players. But that's kind of it. But I'll go with Diogo Jota. The other two didn't have enough time to warrant really a marking.
Yeah, Jota. When you have a player of his caliber coming off the bench, that
40 million from Wolves.
we're just stealing Portuguese players out here.
Or just stealing players with great potential.
Players in general. Well, yeah, just to have a player of his caliber come off the bench is it's not bad. Happy to see him come off, get some minutes, and he didn't have
he got the assist for the fourth goal, didn't he? He was the one who played that ball through.
Oh, it was. You're right.
It was
I thought
Diogo
it was Hendo, but it was.
No, it's Diogo Jota.
It was Jota. They were in the same colored boots today. They were from afar. Yeah, it was Jota. That was a good spell of play from him. It was a great ball in, and he's just a phenomenal player, but didn't really have a huge impact. But he got the assist, but I'll give him a 7.5. Didn't have a ton of time to make an impact.
Fair enough.
But he did in his short time. But
fair enough.
I'm happy for him.
Fair enough. Last player before we shift into the team that were phenomenal on the day. Mr. Jurgen Klopp, Jurgen Norbert Klopp. What are you giving Klopp for today?
He's the best. He said
what did you say? Boom.
Yeah, phenomenal manager. I wish he was my dad at some points. Just to have a Klopp hug once in a while would be lovely.
I'm a Maguire fan, but I think I'd fancy Klopp.
You'd
I think anyone would fancy a Klopp.
What I'm kind of worried about is like when the last time he took that parka off was though. He's been wearing that Nike parka for about a year now. It's a bold move from Jurgen, but he just seems to get everything right, especially of late. Even in a day last week when we played against City and played pretty shit and we couldn't really defend.
Well, I'll say this right now. I mean, conceding 2 goals, you call that not good enough.
Considering our form and our
very
personnel.
true. Yes, considering the form, and we're talking about Liverpool expectations. So, but if only conceding 2 would be wonderful for us.
Yeah, well, he's got the boys firing. We're playing an incredible amount of games in a short period of time, being still involved in 3 competitions. International play as well has been coming. No, not anymore, but the players have been gone. And just the way he's kept them firing and consistent throughout the whole season is great. And he said himself, he's been quoted this year that this is his strongest Liverpool squad that he's ever managed. And you're really seeing him get the full potential out of it. And
I think it's a very interesting point, because when I look at that 2000 and I'd say the 18-19 squad was better than your Premier League winning squad.
I agree. I just don't think it was quite as deep. We have more players with potential. We have a more full squad now. But I do agree that team.
But even then, Shaqiri was still very good.
Would you take Shaqiri or Jota or Shaqiri or Luis Diaz?
Well, come on now. That's kind of
even Shaqiri or even like.
I was just saying Shaqiri
Origi.
No, I was just saying at that time.
No, I agree, but I do
obviously
think
Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz are just levels above.
I'm gonna give Klopp a 9.5. I think he can't really put a foot wrong at the moment. He's got the boys firing. We have a final coming up. We're in the semis of the Champions League. We're a point behind Man City, or we're 2 points ahead of Man City right now with a game in hand. And it's not much else you could ask from him at this point in time. We're winning, we're rolling, the boys are playing well. The fitness levels of everyone have been great. He's a top quality chap.
Absolutely. That just
love him to death.
That sums up Liverpool. And now we're going to transfer over to the team who got absolutely battered. Surprise, surprise. I don't think this was a surprise to anyone, to be honest with you. If you want, do you want to be the person that lists off the players? Or I can do it if you want.
I don't know if I know exactly. Well, we'll start from the back. I know how much you love this man dearly. Your boy David De Gea,
where would we be without this man this season? So many people last season, Henderson, it's time for Dean Henderson. And it was against Liverpool at home that Henderson gifted you 2 goals. And then that was if you guys had lost to Old Trafford last season, you would not be in the Champions League. Let's just remember that.
Fair.
But of course, surprise, surprise, it's Manchester United, the ones that ultimately give Liverpool those extra 3 points and then sent them on a little motivational run. And of course, Alisson scoring that winning header. I have to say that was just like one of the most unbelievable moments in my life. Hey, to be honest with you, David De Gea, like when you watch the game, he didn't have that much to do. I cannot blame him for any of the goals. None of the goals were his fault. Diaz he's right there. Sadio Mane, he's right there. And Mo Salah, like De Gea is just looking at it, thinking, yeah, it's kind of over already. David De Gea, but he did concede 4 goals at the end of the day. As much as I love him, I get to talk him on that. Not as great as per usual. I'll give him a 5. I'll be generous, but I'll give him a 5. But he's the only one I'm willing to be generous with at this point.
Well, let's move to your center back trio here before we go out wide, and we'll start with Phil Jones.
This center back trio, right? The moment I saw Phil Jones, Victor Lindelof, and the other guy, I'm just not going to say his name. We'll save that to when we get to him. When the other guy, I was like, yep, it's going to be a 4-0 rout. Phil Jones, what can I say? I mean, to be honest with you, he wasn't the worst. He definitely wasn't the worst of the 3. We all know who the worst of the 3 was. Well, I can say at least Phil Jones doesn't randomly point at things. One of my friends gave him the ultimate disrespect and called him Pingu the Penguin. But I would rather have had Pingu the Penguin at center back than Phil Jones today. One thing I do have to say, what does Eric Bailly have to do? I mean, how is Eric Bailly feeling right now? I mean, you can't use the excuse that he's been fit, or that he's been injured, sorry, because he's been fit, he's been in on the bench, but it's very clear that the manager has his favorites. And just like Oli had his favorites, just like Jose had his favorites, just like Van Gaal, Moyes kind of or the squad he kind of already had. It's very clear to see that I don't. And if you're gonna bring Phil Jones, I said bring after that Wolves performance. I said integrate Phil Jones more slowly, like integrate him in the FA Cup. Rangnick didn't do it. He decides, oh yeah, let's bring back Phil Jones now of all games. Just didn't make any sense to me. Salah, everyone I think saw that one coming. Salah just tore him apart. Wasn't the worst of the 3, but still not great. 3.
That's solid. Okay, let's move on to
Like the Iceman.
He who shall not be named.
We'll save he who shall not be named for
okay.
that. But actually, let's go with he who shall not be named. I'd genuinely rather have a certain person, that center back, actually, person walking in. I genuinely would rather have.
I think it's okay.
I genuinely would rather have that person than Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, yes, we will stick with Harry Maguire. And again, big up to the legend himself. Back again. Hey, Cameron, you're now in Premier League prime time. Congrats. Harry Maguire. Oh, Liam, what am I gonna do? I'm falling apart on my own show when I think about this man. I mean, you said it yourself. I mean, all the guy does is just go or go.
Yeah,
he does is point.
He's a big pointer. But we love him.
Oh yeah, everyone loves him. And or on Harry Maguire, you know that, or this is kind of a random thing, but you know what they called pointing dancing, like they did that like a lot in like the early 1990s when they were just like, Harry Maguire should just be a pointing dancer, bro.
He's got that dialed in.
Yes,
That's
because he can just point at the linesman as much as he needs and as much as he wants. I mean, what more do I have to say about this man? the one thing that annoyed me is that, he was clapping the fans after and but at the same time, he was kind of moaning at the same time that he had to. I'm pissed off, man. Seriously, you're wearing the freaking armband of Manchester United. Like, come on. Like, it's genuinely, the armband doesn't mean anything anymore. To be the captain of this club means nothing. Like the badge on the shirt. Like, I mean, this badge means a lot to me. The badge I'm wearing right now, because I'm representing, in my opinion, the best Premier League YouTube channel in the world. It actually means something to me. When I see him put on that badge, it looks like he just couldn't be asked. And that mood rubs off on everyone else. The mentality, it's a domino effect on everyone else. Harry Maguire, absolutely dreadful, unbelievably dreadful, awful. And genuinely, I'm not even joking. Cameron, who just walked in, I'd rather have her at center back. She would do a better job, honestly. No, and this is not even taking the piss. She actually would, because it really does not take that much to be better than Harry Maguire. It genuinely doesn't. Harry Maguire, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. He does not get a point for putting his shirt on the right way. I'm sorry, he doesn't.
Well, she's asking about a little cheeky oil change. Gotta keep the cars running smooth. Like, unlike Harry Maguire, he can use an oil change.
No, 100%.
So did you speak on the Iceman?
No, but I'm going to speak on the Iceman. The Iceman, you know what? To be honest with you, he did better than he did somewhat better than I expected, but he still got absolutely torn to pieces by Luis Diaz at the same time.
What can you expect?
No, you can't expect anything more, can you?
The shifty Colombian.
Not great, but to be honest with you, I think other than that, he had a good few long balls. I'm not gonna lie, his passing was actually okay. Probably the best of the back, to be honest. I'll give him the 4. Actually, no. Phil Jones gets a 2. I'll get Lindelof a 3, because just losing 4-0 is just unacceptable. I'll move to the wing backs. Wan-Bissaka, just to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot. The second half, I don't know why he's moved to a left back, so I can't blame a whole lot on him there. But as a right back, just not good enough, and I'm losing my patience with him. And I've defended Wan-Bissaka for ages, but it's getting hard to defend him now. I still want to see him under Ten Hag next season, see if he can elevate his game, coach him properly. Because if you think about it, his 2 coaches aren't very progressive coaches. He's had Roy Hodgson and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And as far as I know, neither of them are very attack-minded. So Wan-Bissaka is not great again. 3, it's dreadful.
That's okay. It's a 3 in this state. If they would have won, equates to like a 7. A 3 in this performance means he didn't play too shit. It was a bang average performance,
Pretty much, yeah. That just kind of says everything you need to know. A proper band from Liam. At left wing back, Diogo Dalot. Again, why was he playing left wing back? He's a right-footed player. Just again, another one with the manager. Like Telles is fit. He's on the bench. Like, play him.
Yeah.
Like,
confusing decisions for sure.
You're already hurting Diogo Dalot by having to play left wing back, and because we're assuming that Telles is unavailable. But if that was the case, it would have been like, okay, fair play on Ralph. He has no other option. But seeing that he's on the bench, inexcusable, and you don't put him in anyways. So also makes no sense either. Dalot, again, I'd probably say he was. I'll probably give him the same as Lindelof 4, but again, just him v Salah. I mean, the only outside back who can stop Salah. If there's one person I miss, it's Ashley Young, because he's just the most Salah kryptonite. We need him back. We need the GOAT himself, Yanni_18. He's the only man who can save us out outside back. Into the midfield, Paul Pogba's not going to get a rid. He played 10 minutes. And I'm already hearing people saying Delap Pioche, awful performance, dreadful. I'm just like, come on. He got the ball. He got it once, maybe one. I think probably one. Actually, no, he did play the ball just randomly, just into Liverpool half. But other than that, and people are like, oh, the first goal's his fault. It's like, come on, really? Are you really going to blame the first goal of Paul Pogba, who had nothing to do with it? Yeah. And look, he's stuffing in to go. And I looked at when he went off. Fans booing him, telling him to F off. Just it looks like it's a sad way to end it, and it looks like we're yet it again not going to learn our lesson. We're going to lose this man on a free at the end of the season. as much as I'd love to see him stay. But why would he want to stay here? I wouldn't blame him for wanting him to stay here. But yeah, no rating for Pogba. Matic kind of just did his job. It's somewhat. But the only issue with Matic is that he's leggy. He's old. He's confirmed to leave at the end of the season. To be honest with you, it's just we need a revamp in this position in the midfield, and it wasn't. I don't know how I'm being so relatively generous. It should be 10 years a new one, but at the same time, I just didn't see a whole lot of communication from it. Like if you're the defensive midfielder, you have to be communicating with your center backs, with your wing backs, communicating to the attacking players. Telling them to drop. I'm not seeing that. And I don't care if you're leaving at the end of the season. Give everything. If you're leaving at the end of the season, at this point, top 4 is probably the best we can do. It's not good enough anyways, but it's just only like compensation, right? Do everything you can to help us get top 4. Then at least you're leaving on a high, but you're leaving on a downright low. Nemanja Matic, and you just look at the two sides. You have Matic playing as our holding midfielder, and you have Fabinho playing as your holding midfielder. It's just one's levels above. Matic just 3. Who should I go with next?
Bruno.
Honestly, if you know what, I think Bruno Fernandes just if every day since his new contract was Halloween, he would win just Scary's costume. Because I genuinely I love Bruno, but I'm hearing people compare him to Kevin De Bruyne. Come on, no, and people say Kevin De Bruyne didn't turn up at the Champions League final. Since he signed his contract, when has Bruno turned up? Where was he in this game? The only thing I saw him do was do the usual. Him and Maguire, call them, and again, I mean this in the most appropriate way possible. I call them the two moaners. All they do is moan and groan. That's all I do. And no, I don't mean that to get myself canceled. But no, all they do is moan and whine. That's all they do. Like Bruno Fernandes, just get on with the game. And I'm actually getting annoyed with it now. He spends more time moaning than he actually does putting good performances on the pitch. And it annoys me now. And I'll jump to you, Liam. What do you think the problem with Bruno Fernandes is? I mean, there's several, but what do you think the main issue is? Because there's clearly a problem.
Well, I think we were talking about this earlier too, is there's an environment problem at Manchester United. There's not a positive environment that people want to be playing at, and people they're not getting results.
God says, I don't know if anyone would want to be playing for United, period.
They're not getting the results. They brought in new personnel up front to try to take care of some things, and it hasn't really worked out. There's been a lot of promises made to players that haven't really been fulfilled. They've brought in new signings that haven't really done anything. Bruno's making the money. They're paying him plenty, and he has quite a large contract. But at the same time, he's not really playing in a system that's working for him, and he seems to not. Like you said, since the contract, he seems to be coasting. He has nothing to prove. He's locked down. He's making the money. I don't know if it's an issue of he's not worried about the pay because
he's just sort of waiting for Ten Hag to just
or he's waiting for new players that he's excited to be playing.
I think that's a lot of these players as well. And this is where I can't blame Rangnick. Like a lot of these players they're kind of saying, what's the point? This guy's only here for 8 more games. Then he goes, new man comes in, then it's under press. But I agree with that. But
and today you saw towards the end of the game, he was completely losing it, just rash
kicking Trent and
not really working to press whatsoever in the second half. Yeah,
he lost his head.
He seems to be doing that a lot more frequently than he should as a player. I've always noticed that about him. It's just when things aren't really going his way, he doesn't put his head down and grind for it. He loses his head and
he lashes
out and he loses his composure and he makes some dumb decisions, and then he gets himself in the book, and then he has to play a tentative game that he's not used to playing, and it really affects his game. But I don't think he played horrendously today, considering But he hasn't really been in, like you said, he hasn't really been in form whatsoever for the second half of the season.
I think he's awful today. He's been awful for he's been rubbish for like I'd say over a month. Like Bruno Fernandes standards, my standard of him is very high, set very high standards for him, and it's now it unfortunately now has to drop, and it's just off. He was awful today, dreadful. He was awful today. I love the guy, but he was awful today.
So the attackers now. What do you have?
I'll start with the Langa. I like the work rate, but I mean, what am I supposed to expect of a young kid who got selected over the man we spent 75 million pounds on? That just makes no sense to me. Like, why are you benching your big 75 million pound signing in probably, I'm not saying like in the biggest game in regards to just, the outcome of our season, which maybe it could be, who knows, but it just our biggest opposition of the season. Why are you benching for Alanga? And
Yeah.
I look, I love Alanga. Like, Liam will tell you, all I do now is what I do honestly, like, is that chant is just stuck in my head now. Rhythm is a dancer, Anthony Alanga, and then the rest, whatever. I love Alanga, and he's one for the future, but this just wasn't the game for him to start and play a full 90 as well. Just he looked shattered by the end of it, and he's a player that can keep his head all high. He gave everything, but the third goal, that's down to him. But that's inexperience. Knowing a player like Robertson's going to be right behind you, always on you. Loose touch, Robertson picks it up. Counter attack, Luis Diaz on a 3-0. So, not great, but work rate was there. So, 4. No, I'll give him a 5. No, I'll stick with the 4 actually because he's up for the goal. So,
And then Sancho, but Lingard, who came on for Pogba.
Jesse just kind of does what Jesse does. You all know what Jesse does. Runs around a lot. That's kind of it. Bring Daniel James back. He can do it at a quicker rate. So, but again, who else do you really have other than Mata? Jesse he looks like he's won the door as well. His time definitely looks like it's coming to an end, which I wish him nothing but the best. He's been a great servant for the club, but we should have gotten rid of. We should have sold him in the summer when West Ham, when we said no, 30 million. Genius said Woodward wants 30 million. He has a year left on his contract. West Ham are saying 20. We'll try to push it to 25. Nope, 30. Take it or leave it. So they're like, no, we're gonna leave it. Just genius business decision from Man United once again.
Yeah.
But
What would you give him?
all I did was run around. 3.
And then I believe the final player coming off the bench of note.
No, I don't blame you for forgetting it. Yeah, I don't blame you for forgetting it because he just also was anonymous. The player who just looks like a shadow of his former self, and it's making me sad now. It's depressing. I'm really sad to see what Marcus Rashford has turned into.
Marcus.
And I don't blame you for forgetting he was there. I don't blame you though, because he was trying. He was working hard. And for people who say that he's never had footballing ability, please come on, really. This kid has ability. I think anyone in the world with a certain level of common sense knows that this kid has ability. There's just something wrong, whether it's because he needs a fresh start, something new manager, a coach. I think the last coach him and like Martial and Lingard had was actually Bengal. I don't think Mourinho really did a great job at developing them. He upped their game. He didn't really develop them. He didn't really coach them, work with them. But all he didn't really do that either. He was Van Gaal. And
he needs a coach, not a tactician. Someone to be in there working with the players day in and day out.
A man managing, and someone that's we haven't had a balance of that. That's also a problem. But Rashford, he was trying. He his touch was, he looked like he had Lukaku's Timberland boots on. This Bambi on ice. I don't blame him for not wanting to play through the middle. It's not his position, but we have no one else. Wasn't the worst player on the pitch. People will slam him saying he was, but he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. I don't think you would say he was the worst player on the pitch from Manchester United. We all know who the worst player on the pitch was. Marcus Rashford, but again, not great. I'd probably give him the same as Jesse Lingard. I'll give him a 3.
And then Jadon Sancho.
Best player on the pitch.
Coming off the bench.
Or for Man United. He's not bad. Nowhere near Thiago. If Jadon Sancho been in a Liverpool shirt, then he probably would be up there with Thiago, to be honest with you. In a Liverpool jersey, in a Liverpool shirt.
He definitely brought a spark at the end of the game that should
be getting a full Trent. He gave Trent a nightmare. Like that's the only player. Like Liverpool looked comfortable, but then when Jadon Sancho came on, Liverpool dropped 5 yards back.
Yeah.
The players on that right-hand side were absolutely petrified of him. Joel Matip dropped. Even Van Dijk dropped a bit back. They were petrified when he was running at them. And that's the caliber of the man we got. And why isn't starting? I don't know. I don't get it. But a 7 for Jadon Sancho. He didn't score, but he was really, really, really trying. Really gave everything. And I know it's gone that low. I'm giving players high scores for work rate. If that was the case, I would have given Daniel James 10s every game for appearances he got last season for his work rate. But Sancho, he's the only one that brought some bit of impetus and attacking prowess going forward. Just anything in general. So I'll say a 7, a 6 or a 7, one of them, maybe 6.5. Who else? Hannibal didn't do anything but almost get himself sent off, but he didn't have any time. And he's a young kid, he'll learn. But I don't get how you're a fresh head coming on and you're already losing your head seconds coming in. Just inexperience, but can't really blame him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna score him.
We'll wrap it up with the manager.
Like I don't like, and I've heard people say that, you know, he shouldn't be caring about the players. This is not his forte. He's looking for the upstairs position. Like, you're given an objective to finish top 4. And someone was telling me, you have to, he shouldn't be the one to motivate them. If they're not motivated, sure, it's a game like Liverpool. They should be motivated. But if they're not motivating them, do you think, and Liam, real talk, do you think someone like Antonio Conte would be sitting there, saying to Daniel Levy, North London Derby, players aren't motivated, so I'm not going to do anything about it. What do you think Antonio Conte would do? No, he would rip that squad. He would rip that Tottenham squad new and saying, get yourselves together or else you're out the door. You're getting benched. You're getting dropped. You're out of the squad. Zidane would have done the exact same thing. Jurgen Klopp would have done the same. Imagine if Man United were the ones that scored 4 goals and played the way that Liverpool did. Imagine what Jurgen Klopp would be like in the dressing room. Imagine what Pep Guardiola would be like in the dressing room. And I'm not mentioning these managers in terms of just what they've won. Just the mentalities. Just like when I look at Ralf Rangnick, it just looks like he just doesn't care. I mean, after the 3rd goal, he visibly looked pissed. I could see after the 3rd goal, it basically said piss off. But I mean, I don't blame him for feeling he's had enough with this squad. I don't blame him. But at the same time, you have to give everything to meet this objective. You have to try, and whether it's wrapping an arm around the players that don't have confidence right now, like Rashford looks worse now than in the beginning of the season under Ollie. He looks worse now. And I think Ralf Rangnick, sure, you could say he's not a manager, but you're still here till the end of the season, but you're getting basic things wrong. This game for me was a prime example. And people want to say it's all the players, it's not Rangnick. And when I saw that lineup, I'm just like, oh, no. We're done. Bye-bye. See you later. And people were saying, oh, no, I like the lineup. This is going to be down to the players. So it's down to Eric Bailly to put himself in. It's down to Jadon Sancho to start himself against Liverpool. I don't think so. Just made no sense to me whatsoever. Again, getting pumped by Liverpool. That's not really a surprise, is it? To end it, I'll ask you, Should I give him, the generous point or no? What do you think? I'll let you be the
I
decider.
think he deserves a 1. Keep his dignity.
Fine. And fine, to save his dignity at least a little bit, Ralph Rangnick gets a 1 because of course he had his shirt on the right way. That's about it. Anyways, that's the end of this. It has been a pleasure to see this man back. This man needs to be back more. And for those who want to see him back or were wondering where has he been? I've been wondering the same question, where has he been? But it's great to see this guy back. If you like what you've seen from here, from myself and Liam, and of course, Cameron making some entries, of course. Shout out yourself. Take a look at this video, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, grow to 150 subscribers. Let us know what your thoughts on this game. What could this mean for Liverpool season? Do you think that they will win the Premier League? Do you think that they could win the quadruple? Will Manchester United make top 4? Who do you think will make the top 4? And again, wherever you are watching this in the world, have a great day or evening.